If you're working with a sketch that contains more than one closed contour, you can use the Contour Selection tool to choose exactly which portions of the sketch you'd like to use. This is done by selecting a sketch and enabling the command from the right-click menu. In other words, SOLIDWORKS allows you to use a partial sketch to create features by selecting the contours within a sketch that you'd like to use. Another advantage of this is that it allows you to create much of the geometry you need in a single sketch, which can be reused to create multiple features from the same common sketch. In this lesson, I'll show you a couple of ways of working with a sketch that contains multiple contours, taking advantage of the contour selection tools along the way. Here in this model, I have a sketch which contains two rectangles and a circle inside the outer profile. This sketch geometry makes up quite a few contours that I can use for creating cuts or other sketch-based features. The term contour simply means an enclosed region. The Contour Select tool allows you to choose the contours from a sketch that you would like to use for a feature. The tool can be activated in a couple ways, either by right-clicking on the sketch and expanding the menu at the bottom to select it. Or, if you're already editing a sketch, you can enable a feature, and the Contour Select tool is automatically enabled. I'll exit out of the feature and re-enable the tool. As I move the cursor into the graphics area, you can see that the icon next to the selection arrow has changed to indicate that the Contour Select tool is active. As I roll the cursor over the sketch, you can see the various regions or contours highlight. I can select individual regions, like the regions inside of the rectangle, or this region inside of the circle. I can select individual contours, such as the rectangle itself, or the circle. I can also select any combination of contours by holding down the Control key on the keyboard as I make the selections. As you can see, there are quite a few possibilities here. For right now, I'll select all of the contours in this sketch except for the circular profile. When you're finished selecting the contours that you'd like to use, you can exit the Contour Select tool by clicking the icon in the confirmation corner, or you can right-click anywhere in the graphics area and select End Select Contours. With the contours pre-selected, I'll launch the Extruded Boss command from the Features toolbar. When I do, notice in the Property Manager the section labeled Selected Contours already includes the contours I pre-selected a moment ago. In case you may not have noticed this selection window in the Property Manager before, this is a field that exists whenever you create extruded cuts or extruded bosses. The process I showed you here of pre-selecting the contours using the Contour Select tool is not actually necessary for pre-selecting contours. You can always select the contours from here while you're in the Property Manager. I'll come back to another example of this in a moment. For now, I'll set a blind depth for this feature to 10 millimeters and click OK. As I mentioned earlier, you can reuse the same sketch to create multiple features. After you create a feature, the sketch is listed beneath the feature in the Feature Manager design tree, but it can still be used for additional features. In the first example, I showed you how to pre-select contours using the Contour Select tool before launching the feature. Let's see what happens if I skip the step of pre-selecting the contours and instead just launch the feature. Without anything pre-selected, I'll again click the Extruded Boss base icon from the Features toolbar. When I do, SOLIDWORKS prompts me to either select a plane or face to begin a new sketch, or to select an existing sketch to use for the feature. I'm interested in this second option since the sketch I'd like to use already exists. To select it, I'll expand the Feature Manager tree. I'll expand the Boss Extrude feature, and here I can select the same sketch to use for this next feature. When the Property Manager appears, again, notice the Selected Contours group box. With the selection window active, I can select regions or entire contours. When I click on an item, it's added to the selection window. Clicking on an item again will remove it from the selection window. For this example, I'll select the regions that make up the two rectangles in the corners. For the extrusion depth, I'll set the end condition to blind with a depth of 25 millimeters and click OK. At this point, if I expand the two boss extrudes listed in the Feature Manager tree, you can see the same sketches being used for both features, and a slightly different icon appears than what you would normally see when a single sketch was used for a single feature. This lets you know that contours were used for each of these features. There's also a hand shown in the icon below the sketch. This lets you know that the sketch is being used for more than one feature. One nice benefit of using a single sketch for multiple features is that if you need to make a design change, you can edit a single sketch to have the change affect any features that are based on it. I'll go ahead and edit the sketch to demonstrate. I'll change the width of the profile from 40 to 55, and I'll change the widths of the rectangles in the corners from 10 to 20. When I exit the sketch, both features update as you would expect.